So today I was thinking I would love to share just some things that we've started off with our homeschooling journey. It was definitely overwhelming to think, well, where do I start? Like, am I supposed to be getting curriculums and books? And some things have sort of stuck and we're continuing to do it, and other things I feel like I've shelved and we're going to come back to it. One of those things is a learning journal, which I just picked up a visual arts diary and started writing down what we were doing each day. Like, maybe it was, all right, let's do this day. Neo was writing his name, we were doing some letter practice, I wrote down activities, we did some letter S writing, soccer, some alphabet practice, making words that start with S. We watched a Minnow Kids video on Sin. We read a book called Searching for Seashells. We talked about 5 words that start with S. And I just included some pictures here. And my goal for this was, first of all, just to have a record of what we're doing, because I have a terrible memory at the moment. I don't know if it's just a postpartum thing, but like, if someone asks me what I've been doing that week, like I can't even tell them half the time. And just pictures, like, I really wanted Neo to have a little bit of ownership over his learning and be able to look back, see progress, things like that. I did have to sort of shelf this because I was getting a little bit of a perfectionist about it, and, you know, wanting printed photos and I don't know, just being a little bit particular. Got things like our homeschool co-op and what we did that week, or here he's got some clay building, which he did at one of the free, like, Brisbane Council programs that they run. If you have not looked into the free, like, holiday programs that your council run, which I personally think are really good. There's so many cool things. Like, Neo's really interested. This year they've got survival things, kayaking, science workshops, opportunities to expose your kid to maybe new things that they haven't tried, just to give it a go. Like, Neo did the clay building, and we also bought some clay and had lots of opportunity to experiment. Also, continuing on a bit of a rabbit trail there, he'd found clay out the back near our shed and really got into sort of filtering out his own clay and making things. And yeah, it's just fun to follow their little interests, and I think that's probably a good thing to share too, is that's what we've done so far. Like, sure, I might have some plans about what I would like to introduce, which would be, I think I mentioned in the other video that I really want to do a reading program. And the reading program that I have chosen for us is all about reading. I feel like Neo's going to need very hands-on activities, very multi-sensory. So I'm really excited about that program. I did buy the second hand, which was awesome. There's heaps of, like, buy swap sell pages where people are sharing and passing on their pre-love programs, which I feel like is a really good way to go. This is American, but it just looks like it's going to be the right fit for us. I didn't really find an Australian one that I thought was great, like a phonics program. So I'll report back on that. What else can I tell you? I did get a little bit carried away and purchased a binder, and just got a couple of things. Like, I want to have things on hand, things that I can reach for. I want to feel like I'm a lot more able to flow with where Neo's at, where things are sort of naturally going, and sort of move with his natural curiosity or spark for the day, which I know isn't going to always work, but I think for right now, in these early years, it's perfect. So I do have, like, a printed and bound handwriting book. I got a Good and the Beautiful program called Fields and Flowers. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by the birds. And, oh, that's what it looks like there. And just, we've done some of the activities from this, but it's more like if it's matching with things that have come up in conversation that week, or activities that we've been doing. Like, we went for a trip to Tasmania in the past month, and of course, we were going on a plane to get there, and that was my son's first time being on a plane, so we went and borrowed out all of the books from the library on planes, exposed him to that, and really saw where it would go. Like, his book was really good, by the way. Piggle's Guide to Airplanes. It's really great if you're going on a little holiday or a plane for the first time. And just really spoke about planes and how they're working. Like, that's when you're going to take stuff in, isn't it? Like, when it's of interest to you, it's coming up in real life. You're getting to see and expose it, and it's like a field trip that you didn't even plan for. And just seeing, like, using it as a launch pad to see where it might go. One of the things that Nero really got into this year was like rocks. He was finding really cool rocks in the yard. He was finding the clay. He was into the pottery and looking at like wild clay on YouTube and seeing what people would do to filter the clay naturally and then build all sorts of things and fire it out of like just like very primitive kilns or fires, and that was really exciting. And then he sort of got into crystals and gems, and we went up to Thunderbird Park at Mount Tambourine and went fossicking, which was cool. We were the only ones there in the mine, and I'm looking down because I'm looking at some of the things that we found. So the thunder eggs, like particularly with a lot of smoky quartz in it, and then we did like an activity where we got resin, and then this was a whole thing of pouring it over the rocks and, you know, displaying them. Some of them just turned out really cool. That was really fun. I got such a buzz out of it. So then it was rocks and it was jewelry for Neo. Like, okay, I'm gonna make necklaces out of this. So I got like the jeweler's wire and the pliers, and what else do we get? Some chain. And he made necklaces and bound like the crystals that he found into some jewelry and made rings and gifts, and that sort of went for a while. Like, sometimes these things last months, and he is just invested hours and hours at a time in whatever that thing is. Like, bow and arrows has probably been his longest standing interest, where he'll just go out and be tinkering all the time, looking for materials, learning about it on YouTube, asking questions, experimenting. It's been really fun to see kids get in their zone of creativity and making and designing and thinking, and just like, you're just facilitating their learning. I'm not pushing it down his throat. I'm not trying to make anything happen. He's just excited about it. He's figuring out how things work. Like, it's all been very practical sort of things so far. He's even made arrowheads out of spoons, and we've gathered different types of feathers for fletching, and he's made like dowel arrows and sort of set up the fletching on this end with floss or like really fine thread. Experiment with things that require risk-taking and learning new skills, and the safety that's involved in that, and just like the confidence building that comes with stepping out and learning how to do something that, you know, is otherwise can be dangerous. So these little safety goggles, and slate was a really fun rock to experiment with. We have some we found in our backyard from the people who built this house, and slate is a really awesome rock to work with because it's like he can file it and he's been able to shape it into like knives, and he was experimenting with arrow points with this. He's interested in obsidian, like, you know, just getting all the books from the library on all the cool rocks out there. We went gold panning when we went to Tasmania, and that was like easily his highlight, looking for sapphires and gold in the riverbeds. I hope we find some someday. Like, my approach to this homeschooling year has just been following his interest and continuing to facilitate that interest and exposing him to maybe a new thought, or maybe it's an activity that we might do for the day, or a resource like the National Geographic crystal growing kits that we found for like $4 at the thrift store. Just, you know, continuing to expose and spark curiosity and interest, and then see where it leads them, and then tying in the other subjects to that, tying in the maths really naturally. You know, maybe it's pattern making, or, you know, the counting involved in something, or even addition and subtraction in whatever those activities are. Or we could talk about the letters, like just bringing in the other key subject areas into that interest has been the way we are doing things at the moment. Hot glue gun, can't go wrong. I'm just looking around at some of the things I brought over to the table. like a little crafting mat. This has been cool, the Yoto. He hasn't fallen in love with it as much as I did. I think I need to put more effort into the cards and getting things that are like really tailored for him. That will probably kick things off for us there, but it's been a bit of a time investment, I guess, for me to sort of feel like I'm on top of how things work and, you know, like getting on top of content quickly for him. So YouTube probably takes the cake for us there, which isn't necessarily ideal, but it's the truth. One resource that I do think is pretty cool that would be fun to share is this little hundreds board. And I've got letters in here at the moment. I've got the capitals and lowercase, but I also have the numbers, and also when I bought the actual board, it came with just the wooden balls. A multi-purpose sort of hands-on, lots of experimenting, even getting out as a play piece for a short activity and just seeing where the activity goes, whether it's making CVC words or just looking at the letters or counting or making arrays, things like that. Just putting it out there and seeing where that little mini lesson might lead. Probably the last thing worth noting for today that I've pulled out that I can think of I want to talk about is these little 10 frames that I got from Officeworks. They're magnetic, which I think is really helpful. You can totally make your own, laminate it, you know, make a cool carved wooden one. I know that this company sells wooden ones, but I just liked that it was magnetic. It's just got lots of uses. Use it alongside other resources like that hundreds board. That's just really helpful resource, I feel, for this age group anyways. And just thought I would mention it in case you were looking for something like that or hadn't seen it. Yeah, I just wanted to share a few ideas, I suppose, on some of the resources that I'm using, things that aren't necessarily, like there's no strict program or anything like that I'm using at the moment. I just wanted to experiment and integrate all the subject areas as much as I can. Apart from reading, that's probably the only one that I'm really gonna go after as like, no, this is what we're doing. You know, it's not an optional, it's not a negotiable subject area, but the rest of it, I feel like I can fairly smoothly integrate and make it feel like it's really applicable to where Neo's at and what he's interested in. And yeah, I hope that's helpful and you got some ideas or some clarity in what you're going to do in your homeschool. Nice to have a chat with you. Hopefully you can still see me. It's quite dark still. And yeah, looking forward to speaking to you soon. Bye.